How's it? Welcome to InSurfNews.com. I'm FreddyP. We're here with Mark Occhilupo.
Hello, Freddy.
Thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Right on. How's commentating?
Well, commentating is fun. Yeah, it really is. You know, when I was on tour, you probably know that I was the guy that used to sit down and watch a lot of heats, and because I really like to see what everyone's doing and how they're surfing. So it's the same. I'm just sitting watching heats, which I like to do, but commentating at the same time. And yeah, I like it.
I think a lot of guys online, and we get a lot of people saying that they appreciate pro surfers coming up, and especially a guy like yourself who is a world champion and just an all-around good guy and willing to say what's really going on out there in the heat. Is it difficult for you to kind of tell the truth sometimes, or it just comes freely?
Nah, it comes real. It comes free, yeah. I've always been like that. But you're right. I mean, when I watch other sports, golf or football at home, it's always good. You've got the main commentator, but it's always good to have the ex-football player or something giving their side to it. It's a really good mix, and so everyone else has told me that too. So it's good, and that's it. I like doing it. Yeah.
And I think people appreciate it because it's creative criticism. You know, it's like, hey, you know, you could have pulled into that section because you've done it before. It's like it's possible.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you got to tell it how it is because everyone's on the edge of their seats. You know, there's a lot of good surfers out there online just going, ah! and cringing for them, you know, and but you know, that's, you got to kind of, you can't be too mean, but you know, you got to tell it how it is.
Yeah. You watch a lot of heats, and now that you're commentating and you see the new guys on tour, do you feel that the top 45 surfers on the world tour are the top 45 guys in the world?
Well, it's debatable, for sure. You know, I mean, we've had this circuit for so long, and you know, it's not easy to get in, and it's not easy to fall out. I mean, it's hard, you know. I mean, I stayed on as long as I could, and not last year, the year before, I did not re-qualify, and I didn't make the top 28. So that was a big reason for me retiring. It was coming anyway, but you know, I think the top 10 are definitely the best surfers in the world by a long way, and but there's some guys in there for sure that are probably good on their day and good at certain spots, their home breaks and stuff, but maybe not everywhere, you know. And you know, these guys are trying, and when you're on tour, you have to travel and get used to all these different ways that we surf, big and small, and we're especially big. But you know, it's definitely debatable. Sometimes I think, you know, like you know, they've run this new format now, and the old format used to be like that. The back 16 would meet the top 16, but then they'd have a big trials that anyone could go into. So anyone could go into it pretty much. I mean, well, let's say, you know.
That's how you made it back in the day,
That's how
right?
I made it back in the day, yeah. That's how you make it. And so anyone can make it, you know. And I always thought that was the better way to go. When they kind of closed it off to 44, I was like, you know, that it felt good personally because you had some security in that. Like, you know, like you'd had some, like, you know, some longevity in the sport. But definitely, there's a lot of good guys out there that you're not giving a chance. So I think I like the old format better.
A lot of people are talking about making it one heat, one rating system.
Yeah.
And then making it 32 guys get into the WCT events, kind of like Grand Slams in tennis or majors in golf. You think that'd be a good idea?
That sounds good too, yeah. And then you'd have to open up the QS to let more guys in. I mean, I guess the contest is going to go for longer with less, you know, but it'd be good to, like, you know, just let, you know, all the good guys at the certain spots in, just to give them a go, you know, because you know, the local community would be stoked, and everyone would be stoked, and then you're going to find probably another new champion, a new star out of it, you know what I mean? And because there's plenty out there.
There's a lot of good surfers, and it's a big world out there.
It is.
A lot of people are like, man, Occy's got the best style in the world. Tom Curran does, or Kelly Slater. Do guys with the best style, do you consciously think about the way your hands are positioned or the way that you're turning? Do you think about your style, or is there something that came naturally?
Yeah, it just pretty much comes naturally, for sure. You know, like, the best style in surfing is kind of no style, you know what I mean? You know, like, as soon as you're trying to have a style, it looks weird, you know. You know, I just don't think about it. I've just got my hands as relaxed as possible and stay as low center of gravity as possible, and that's just about how I think I surf, yeah.
And so
no style. Yeah, you got no style.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is more. Yeah.
Did you ever think that your surfing and your style would have such a big impact on the surf world.
Well, no, for sure. I mean, it's funny when you talk about style, because I think I didn't kind of change it. Like, I didn't think I changed it, but they said when I was young, about 12 or 13, that I had a weird style, and I don't know if I ever saw footage of it, because I don't think they had cameras back then. Maybe cameras. but they said I did, and but a lot of times, the kids, you can see that they mature, and their
body
changes just about the same time as their voice breaks.
Yeah. You're a power surfer. Sonny Garcia is a power surfer. Do you think that power surfing is a dying style? Do you think it's getting overshadowed by airs and tail slides?
Yeah, I hope not, but yeah, a little bit for sure. I hope not, because power surfing just looks so good. When you see those buckets of spray and those big turns, that's what I love to watch. I mean, I love watching aerials too, but I'd rather see those big buckets of spray. That's just really, that's what it looks good. Those photos. And like yeah, I think it's changed. For sure, it's tough. But even with Kelly, like, he's a real powerful surfer. But then when he started riding those smaller boards, he lost some power. And I'd rather see him ride those other boards where he's just going, wow, full arse. Yeah, I like that better. But everyone's got their own taste in surfing, so that's why it's a really hard sport to judge. Yeah.
Do you attribute some of your power surfing and style to the boards that you were forced to ride? Because you were riding a twin fin, you talk about it in your book.
Yeah.
How you grew up on a twin fin, guys are riding single fins.
Yeah.
And it seems like with those style of boards, you need to use the rail.
Yeah.
More than the friction of the fins in the water.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my surfing matured as soon as like Simon Anderson brought out the thruster. For sure, my surfing got about 100% better. For sure, like you can really, as soon as the thruster came in, that was the time when power surfing came in, and Simon can attribute to that. I mean, he invented them, but he was a real powerful surfer too. So that's probably why he made them. I think, but definitely, the boards and the boards just got so good back then and still now. So we all got to thank him, eh? If everyone gave him $1, he'd be a rich man.
Seriously. But he's still a great shaper and doing his thing and living a good life.
Yeah, he is.
So we want to talk about Rusty a little bit. You pay a lot of tribute to Rusty in your book. You say how that Rusty board's probably one of the best boards you've ever had. So what was that relationship like with you and Rusty and creating that magic board?
Yeah, well, it was a fluke, really. I just somehow, might have even been Sarge back in the day, because Sarge and Rusty were good friends, but someone just tossed me a couple of Rusties when I got to California, and I jumped on them, and that's when my surfing really took off too. I think I might have had like a Jim Banks thruster before that, and it was really good too, and then I got that Rusty, because Jim Banks was a great shaper, but Rusty was amazing. And as soon as I got on that board in California, summertime, everything just clicked, and I was like, oh, here we go, like far out. I couldn't I just couldn't praise the boards enough. It was really good.
So speaking of your book, here's the book.
Here's the book.
It's awesome. The Rise and Fall and Rise Again and Rise of I can't even read right now.
You can't read.
I'm all nervous. Occy, the Rise and Fall and Rise of Mark Occhilupo.
There we go.
Where can we find these books? Everywhere?
Pretty much everywhere, yeah. They're in bookshops, but you can also find them in Billabong surf shops. They're stocking them too.
And what was the most enjoyable thing about writing a book about your lifestyle?
Well, it wasn't really enjoyable.
Oh, really?
It was hard work. I mean, just to sit there and go through it with Tim Baker. He'd done a really good job, but it was kind of excruciating, just to bring up the past, because I've been through some pretty radical times, and just reliving them. I've gone through the side, but for me to read that is tough. Everyone says they love it, but when I read it, I'm like kind of whoa. but it's interesting to say the least. And it's a kind of happy ending book, and it's got some pictures in there and everything.
Hey,
you gotta love your pictures.
It's got some very classic pictures in here. What is the main thing that Mark Occhilupo lives by?
Yeah, well,
what does it take to live like Mark Occhilupo?
Well, I've just got one philosophy that I've had. I think it's an old ancient Indian proverb. It's like someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. and then I'm all sweet.
There you go. Well, go out and buy the book. It's an amazing book. Mark,
Thank
thanks for
you,
being with
Freddie.
us. Yeah. InSurfNews.com.